What's up, buddies? And welcome to another shorty. This week we are listening to a brand new album, just came out. It's by a little known band. You might have heard of them. They're called Alt J. I'm guessing they're from London, England. I don't know. He seems to have an accent.
I'm not sure he's from this world.
That's true. That might be an alien accent for all I know. That's Venetian.
And what do we have from Alternative Jackoffs this time, Lucas?
Well, they have a new album called The Dream, and it is 50 minutes, and it might be one of those albums that you fall asleep to every single night if you choose. And yeah, man, let's get into this record, dude, because I don't think either of us are that well versed in the Alt J verse.
No, I haven't caught up on the lore in a while.
Yeah, I don't know what the latest is in the storyline. I think I missed last season.
Yeah, I mean, I came into this knowing like the singles and maybe a couple other songs, so I was very looking down our list of albums that came out this week. This seemed to me to be probably the most interesting band that was releasing something. Excited to see how they'd evolved in like the last 8 years or whatever since they released Breeze Blocks.
Right. Yeah. I haven't. I liked Breeze Blocks and Tessellate. I like those songs a lot, but I really haven't listened to much of theirs in the last maybe 5 years. So I haven't heard much from Alt J in a while. I did like their hip hop remix record. I thought that was pretty cool idea. I don't think a lot of people knew about that. I know that they still have a shit ton of fans. I'm just not really one of them.
Yeah, it was a tough listen, this one. And
it kind of was, man.
By the ending of it, I wondered,
It's a shame.
Did I really listen to that record?
That's true. The second half just seemed to have a lot more emotionality, if that's a word to it.
Yeah.
It seemed like the music was finally kind of pushing through this like kind of melancholic, maybe even cool at times. Like we thought that there was some actually kind of cool sounding stuff towards the end. But the first half was just sleepy, man. The Bane was a cool kind of intro, but it felt like a 6-minute long intro. Like it felt like the song never really started.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
It like had that first false intro that was about 30 seconds long, and then it like cuts off into something completely different. And there are a couple other parts, but the thing is, listening back to this album very shortly after we listened to it the first time, the most active songs were the first couple. You and Me, Hard Drive Gold, were some of the more active, quote unquote, energetic songs. And then after that,
and some stuff that I liked in all of those.
But man, I don't know what we were supposed to expect, but there was just a slog for a good couple songs, and I guess I was just hoping for more. The whole time we were going through this, we were thinking, what's going on? Because we really like
where is this going?
Interesting instrument choices for like they make interesting music, though the vocals are kind of like mid, Yeah,
oh, dude, the vocals are so sleepy and boring for me for most of the album, and unintelligible.
Yeah, and even if it was, their lyrics are a little more intelligible than like Animal Collective. Like it's a little more tangible.
They make a little more sense, yeah.
But it's still, man, like just so hipster. It's just such a hipster band, dude.
Yeah, hipster in a way where it's almost up its own ass a little bit. Where it's almost like they have this this real confidence to them that I don't think they deserve very much. But like you said, the instrumentation is so good on the whole album. Like all the different synths and strings and elements that they bring in, like guitar, and even though the drums are pretty fucking boring and almost like non-existent, it feels like in some songs. When they came in, they were good. Like they were, the instrumentation and the songwriting and how they played it and how they produced it and how they put everything together, I thought was great on the whole record.
Yeah, and there'd be like little tidbits of instruments that you would hear for 3 seconds and then you'd never hear again. So it was interesting, but it wasn't really until the last part of the album that it seems like the instruments actually contributed to the overall mood and the overall vibe of like what the song was. And before then, they were just putting in interesting instruments just to do it. And then starting with Walk a Mile, where I think we both did a whole 180.
Yes.
Where it's like a slow, kind of bluesy song, and it's like 6.5 minutes, and this whole time we were like, oh god, this is gonna be such a slog, this album's so long. This is like the longest song in the album, and I think it was like the most deserving of being a long song for some reason.
Yeah, probably the best one. I love the kind of, like you said, bluesy, almost like Delta blues kind of style vibe, so it made you feel kind of cool. The music was a little cool. It was still subdued. This whole album is quiet. Yeah. This whole album's super fucking quiet.
Yeah.
But that Walk a Mile definitely stood out. It was a really nice, like, minor key bluesy melody. I liked the story behind the guitar riffs. I thought that it had a cool story, because also, like, a lot of the annotations on Genius were also very kind of like, oh my god, these guys are so impressed with themselves. Like, they all kind of sounded like they would fart in a jar and just want to fucking sniff it all day.
Just huff it.
Yeah. So, it was, they seemed very impressed with themselves. But they did have some standout tracks on this album. There was, I would say, probably it weighs more towards the really kind of boring, interesting stuff for the most part.
Another
like,
synonym
I feel like,
for boring.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're essentially a pop band that, but they're writing 4 or 5 minute long songs, pretending to be kind of like a Radiohead. It seems like they want to be that kind of deep and artsy and moody.
Right, for sure.
But I'm not buying it for the most part. I'm not buying it. I don't think that they're good enough to write an interesting 5.5, 6 minute long song. And I love that you said it's like goth for hipsters, some of this stuff. Like, this is pop music for people who take pride in saying that they don't like pop music. They don't realize that Alt-J is just it's kind of wrapped up in a different...
I mean, it's probably been this whole echo chamber of Alt-J being these super squeezy
so
hipsters,
artsy.
And then their fans being the same type of people, and they're like, oh, y'all are so good, and then they're just this echo chamber of like,
everyone's sniffing each other's farts, I think, in this fandom, but I don't know for sure.
I think we ought to just get to our Narnugs. What do you think?
Let's do it, man.
All right, my first one, Walk a Mile, for sure.
Yeah, clearly that's my first one. That was the one, like, dude, after Get Better and Chicago and Philadelphia, those 3 songs were so slow and quiet that once Walk a Mile came in and it gave us just a little bit of tude, man. I only need a smidge of tude for me to get into it, and this song had it. It had attitude and swagger, and it was still chill.
And it still definitely took its time, and it's not like it's... If you showed it to a blues artist, they wouldn't know what you're talking about.
No. but we clinged on to this song. We clung on to her, clang on, whatever, because it was finally some sort of, like we said, emotion from the music.
Yeah, and it sounded so much more cohesive. Mm-hmm. And it was,
even with the barbershop intro, that was kind of random, but that even it sounded barbershoppy, but it brought me to like the South. I was getting South vibes from the very beginning.
Yeah, and you brought up like Red Dead Redemption 2, which is like, it'd be perfect for like a cowboy kind of like modern game.
Yeah, anyone who's watching, like, y'all know what I'm talking about if you played Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2. Like, there was a musical moment in each of those games that were so well done and so epic, and Walk a Mile would fit perfectly in either one of those.
Yeah, and just a cool... I don't know, like, all my gripes with the album, that it's like slow, it doesn't have like much going on for long portions, are the reasons why I like this song. So I don't know. I really can't tell you like what happened after this song, but after this song happened, like I liked the rest of the stuff I was hearing on the album.
Yeah, same here. There was some sort of tonal shift on the record where they get towards the end, and it felt like there was like we said, just a little more attitude, a little more swagger, and a little just slightly more energy. It was. I feel like that's why we just grabbed onto this song so much, because it was that tonal shift on the record, and like I like the guitar riffs a lot. I like that it's bluesy.
Yeah.
You mentioned while we were listening to this album that you felt bad for the drummer of this band, and I totally feel bad for the drummer also, but this one had at least some more drum stuff going into it.
It had some drum for sure.
Yeah. He was able to do something. I thought it was a great vibe, and it was the best vibes on the record since like The Actor, like track 5. So we had to wait, 4 songs to finally feel like, oh, we're finally getting some sort of vibes here, some sort of energy.
Right.
It was a good song, man. That's one that I'm definitely gonna come back to.
Yeah, I do genuinely like that song.
Yeah.
And it's just weird that it took so long for it to get here. There was a second where I brought up like none of us are really into Alt J. Like neither of us are really getting anything from this. We have like 30 minutes left. Like, should we keep doing this? And like,
dude, yeah, we almost gave up on a record. We've never done that.
Just because like
I was really surprised that you even suggested it.
Well, because like I just thought like it just feels like there's gonna be nothing here for us. But yeah. Like, we kept going on. We're like, no, it's not like that bad. The music is still interesting enough that it keeps us going, and it keeps us alive.
Man, not to say I didn't get sleepy throughout the whole thing, but I mean, I had some honorable mentions also. Like, I think Bane was a cool intro. I thought it was a cool opener song. It was very weird.
I think we probably could have kept the first 30 seconds out of it.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, it's a little too long, and it did feel like a 6-minute long intro.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good opener, and I liked Happier When You're Gone. I got kind of like Paper Planes vibes listening to it because of that deep bass song sound, and I liked The Actor. I liked all the wubby synth during the refrain. I thought it was a cool tone of the guitar. Kind of reminded me of like Dire Straits or early 80s Tom Petty. And it turns out that The Actor concept was set in Hollywood 1982, and I was like, wow, I totally got that vibe even before I read but my second choice nug, and it follows a trend that we've seen so many times, was the song right after Walk a Mile, and it was Losing My Mind.
Yeah, that's my second as well.
Well, I guess if you skip Delta, Delta is like whatever.
I don't like at this point I don't understand why they didn't just make Delta and Lose My Mind one song. Because it flows like very clearly and perfectly into Losing My Mind, that I don't understand why it's not just. But whatever. I know what you're saying.
But yeah, that was my second choice nug. Losing My Mind was another, like, I felt the emotionality coming through from the music, because you're not gonna get it from the singer. So the music pushed through. It was another song right in a row, right after Walk a Mile, that I felt like the music pushed through and made me feel something.
Yeah, I really liked the my favorite part was when there were like the organs and the very distant distorted guitars, like way in the background. But
the guitar was really well used on this song.
Yeah,
that distorted, spacey, off to a distance, kind of just strumming single chords and having like almost like a octaver or something on it too, that made it kind of like an octave. It sounded like it was an octave too low at times.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It reminded me a lot of the whole vibe of the song. Reminded me a lot of The National, because it kind of sounded 80s. Like Losing My Mind sounded a little like a slow 80s, new wave or like post-punk type of like The Cure type of thing.
Yeah. So
dark and brooding and kind of depressing, but it had this, there's always this kind of odd optimism to the music, and that's what this I got from this song.
Yeah, and then it like is kind of building. It starts very minimalist, and then it kind of builds a little bit, and that's it's nice. Any development is nice.
Yeah, then they bust out with like these beautiful 4-part harmonies
Right.
there in the bridge, and really, really beautiful. Yeah, man, that's another one. I'm definitely going to come back to Losing My Mind and listen to that often.
All right. Well, what would you rate this one on your first listen?
Was that your second choice, Nug, too?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
holy shit!
Yeah.
I was waiting to hear what yours was.
It really got us in the last half, man.
Yeah. You didn't have any honorable mentions?
Going back, You and Me was kind of one that I took for granted on our first listen.
I didn't like it.
The Actor was also, it was like the first time I liked the vocals on a song.
It had an interesting kind of like horror. Oh no, that was Hard Drive Gold. But The Actor did have, like, the lyrics were stupid as hell, but it had a good vibe. It was fun.
Yeah, and those
but
would
you
be
asked for my rating, huh?
Those would be my honorable mentions. Yeah, let's get to rating it. Let's get to putting it on a scale and judging it.
All right, I'm ready. I've like we've mentioned before, neither of us are really big Alt J fans. I can't even say I'm really a fan of Alt J in general. It felt kind of like we said, like very hipstery, a little up its own butt, pop rock or pop music, really. I felt a little defensive against this record, like towards it. I was just like, man, there's something about this that I don't like. I just don't like it, and I feel like maybe it didn't feel very genuine at times. The vocals are really, really sleepy and boring for me, to be honest, and unintelligible. And I felt like they were trying too hard on some stuff, but the songs that I liked, I genuinely liked. It sucks that apparently they've been working on this record for 4 years and this is what they put out, because that's kind of a bummer, because I didn't like it as much as 4 years of work should have made me like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And the songs were all, for the most part, other than the ones that we've called out, were really boring. That honestly felt like 4-minute long intros. Like, it felt like the songs never went anywhere. But I love the instrumentation. I do really like maybe 4 or 5 songs on the record. So I'm going to give it, like a 4.8.
Yeah, I mean, that seems about right. I shared all the same sentiments. I probably like even less of the songs on my first listen. The instruments.
You did mention that maybe you'll go back and like some of these songs more, and I think that could definitely be the case.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I don't think I'm ever gonna like Get Better or Chicago.
Or Philadelphia, honestly.
But I feel like going back and like listening again and knowing kind of what this album is and where it's going and what's gonna happen, I'm gonna appreciate it a little better. That being said, okay. I was really excited for some weird out-of-the-box stuff from Alt J, and that's just not what they were doing this time. They were bringing some interesting instruments, and that was about it. And yeah, very sleepy. I'll probably give this album like another chance, and then after that, if I don't like it, then that's the end of my Alt J journey.
Yeah, yeah, man, I get it.
So I'm ranking this one. It's gonna be a little higher, a little preemptive, 5.3.
Okay, not to, you're not being crazy here.
I'm not getting crazy.
You're not getting crazy.
Yeah.
I think this album has a time and place. I think, if this was a sleepy day where I was, laying on a beach or, maybe floating down a river, I might like it even more. Set and setting, man. That has so much to do with the way that we feel about so many things, and especially music. And I don't think either of us were in the right set or setting to fully appreciate this record. So I think it'd be fair to give it another chance. Because like we said, we really love the musicality of it and the instrumentality throughout the whole thing. The instrumentation's great. So there's something there.
If nothing else, it might just interest me to go back in their catalog and check out their other stuff and maybe find an album I genuinely really do like back there.
Check out that hip hop remix album.
I gotta check out the original first.
I think it's just a bunch of their songs. I don't know if it's a record that they remix only one, or if they remix a bunch of Alt J songs. But check it out. There's some choice nugs on there for sure.
Will do.
And let us know, buddies, if you've listened to this album, if you've checked it out, and what you guys think. I hope we don't fucking, take on. I hope we don't piss off a bunch of J-heads.
I mean, this was probably one of the more indifferent reviews we've given in a long time. We're like not too heavily on one side or another.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, So what we did like, though, we both really grabbed onto it, and I think we were both a little desperate for something to like. So, take that as you will, grain of salt, but leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys thought of this record. If you love Alt J, recommend some songs for us to check out that, might make this album make a little more sense, some context to
right.
it. But yeah, give us a like, give us a comment. Check out all our other episodes on anywhere you can get podcasts, or they're all up on YouTube as well. Brett, what would you real quick, find us on Instagram, EBPcast. I'm at Jean-Luc Guitar.
There we go.
Brett is at Brett Hanrahan. Brett, what would you rate this episode?
I'm gonna rate this episode a sleepy little nap time out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate this episode a out of 10.
Thank you so much for listening and watching, buddies. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Bye.